We're just gonna hear it going beep beep.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
you
What are you
might hear
doing?
that.
Fucking oven's on
Baking some
fire.
chicken thighs.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's week 6. It's Saturday, 10:30 p.m. my time, Central, 11:30 Eastern, where my boys Cam, Jake, currently reside. So we have football in about 12 hours. Can't be more excited. Tonight we're me going over our lineups. So we're gonna lock in our lineups. With that being not so much locked unless there's injuries, right? So there's a couple injuries if they don't play tomorrow that we're definitely going to make some changes. We're going to do 3 locks of the week. Um, and with the 3 locks in the week, if your lock does not hit, you have to take a shot on this podcast. So I don't know. We'll figure out a way to record it, and we'll just have some fun with it. So I got Cam. Cam's with me. Cam, say hello.
Hello.
Jake. Jake, say hello.
What's going on, fam?
All right. Jake went bowling tonight. Jake bowled a 285, he said, so he's super hyped up after the win.
That's just not true.
Cam's playing League of Legends and banking chicken thighs while I'm just sitting in my basement looking at my computer screen. Okay, gentlemen, how do we want to start this? Do we want to do locks first or do we want to do our lineups first?
Probably do our lineups.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the locks will come naturally as we're talking through
We need like a buzzer, like you say, and then like you have a
the
lock of
whistle.
the week, you get like a bow, 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 and that way we know that like this is my lock of the week. Something we
I
could
can
look
do that
into.
with my mouth.
Yeah, don't do that. All right. Jake, let's start with you. Let's go through your lineup.
All right. So for this is for our contest where we do a head, and we were having a little discussion before we went live on how we're kind of approaching this contest. And I was thinking to myself earlier when I was building this lineup, like, should I approach this like a cash game or should I approach this like a lineup? So far this year, I've been kind of approaching it like it's a cash game, and I have lost every week but one. So this week, I'm kind of taking a more not totally tournament approach, but a little bit of a hybrid between cash and tournament. So as you'll see, uh, I got a little bit of stack going. So let me start with that. Quarterback is going to be Joe Burrow. I was on him right when the week started. I love his stacking options. I love the matchup, and I love the price. I mean, 6,300. Yeah, I could have paid up for someone like Lamar. But that's another thousand more. Joe Burrow, I think, provides a safe floor, but also a pretty high ceiling. If the Lions can keep up, and Joe Burrow has to throw a little bit more, I think Joe Burrow has a top five ceiling on the slate this week. And at that price, I didn't think you could really beat it. So going off from that, I mentioned his stacking options. So I'm going to stack him with both Jamar Chase, who's been an absolute stud for a guy who apparently can't catch a football. Uh, he's my wide receiver, one that I'm stacking with, and then I'm going to stack him with Higgins. So um, I decided no bring back this week. Typically, that's not something I like to do if I'm going to run a stack, especially a double stack. But I just looking at the options, I wasn't thrilled about maybe running it back with a cheap receiver like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I didn't really love Swift, so I just decided no bring back. And yeah, so let's move up to running backs. Um, Dalvin Cook, 7,700. Really, this was a play here where I was trying to get a little bit different from the field, and between these two guys, I didn't think either of them would play him. Coming off an injury, with the cheap running backs on the slate, I figured everyone's lineup would have a cheaper running back, so I decided to pay up for one. And I think Dalvin Cook against Carolina's defense, who is it is a good defense, but if anything, they're gonna really stop the pass game. So I'm gonna put my eggs in Dalvin Cook's basket. Other running back
It's a weird
is
thing to say.
yeah, that's fine. I love Dalvin Cook's breadbasket. Um, Other running back is I'm gonna eat some chalk here with Kareem Hunt. Uh, I just don't know how you really get away from that in a hybrid cash game thing here that we're going head to head to head. 6,200 for a guy who produces when he's like the 1B. So now he's gonna have that backfield all alone this week. So, I mean, I think that one speaks for itself. Um, my other wide receiver, DJ Moore, guy's a stud. Christian McCaffrey's back on IR, so I think Minnesota Carolina is probably going to be one of the better games on the slate, and I can see how this game shoots out. So I wanted pieces in this game. That's why I got Dalvin Cook and DJ Moore. Um, I just love DJ Moore. So at 7,300, he was the wide receiver I kind of wanted to pay up for. And my cheap wide receiver this week is going to be Rondell Moore. I think Rondell Moore was a guy I talked about earlier in the week on our early show. Guy's a freak talent wise. He's so quick, so elusive, can make so many people miss. Last week he finally outsnapped Christian Kirk, so he's going to be on the field more. They have no tight end. Well, not literally, but Max Williams is on IR, so now they have some other guy that's going to be playing this week before Zach Ertz can play because he can't play this week because he just got traded in the middle of the week. So I imagine Rondell Moore is going to see an uptick in snaps, and he's the kind of guy that really 3 catches and he can have 100 yards easily just because he's so elusive and can make so many people miss. So at 4,600, I like the ceiling that is potentially there. Tight end, I think a guy that's probably going to be pretty popular this week, Ricky Seals-Jones, just 3K for a guy who's probably going to see, 5+ targets in a game that's going to shoot out probably KC, Washington. There's going to be a ton of points scored in that game. Both defenses stink. So I figured I'd grab the cheapest piece of that game I can and Ricky Seals-Jones. And then defense. Vikings defense I don't really spend too much time on my defenses. Just whatever fits. Sure. Vikings defense, maybe a little sack. Sam Darnold a few times, whatever. Fine with me.
Uh,
Yeah, that's my lineup there.
I really like the Vikings defense is probably a pretty good pick. And Cam, it's not a shot at you, but with the Vikings getting, I think they're third in league in sacks, they're second league in sacks, and Sam Darnold kind of got pummeled last week. I really like your lineup. This is definitely a different lineup, because we'll talk about it, but I'm playing Joe Mixon this week, and if you have Joe Burrow, Chase, and T Higgins, outscore him, which who knows, they might. It'll be a very good, it'll just put me down in the dirt, which is where I usually am. So we'll see. Yeah, Jake, I really like your lineup. I think it's a good tournament lineup here. I like the Minnesota Carolina game. Could be sneaky. It really could.
Right. And like I mentioned earlier, right? If this lineup tanks and I get third place and I lose by 100 points, what's the difference between getting third place and losing by 100 points than getting second place and losing by 2 points? There's no difference. I get zero money either way. Yeah, I know this is like more for fun and more for practice, but you still kind of want to win, at least me personally. So I'm just kind of thinking that was my thought process. That's why I approach this more like a tournament this week than a regular cash game.
Yeah, I like that a ton. Cam, are your chicken thighs? Are you still baking them? Or do you want me to go? Or are you good?
I can go.
Cody, share
Still preheating in the oven.
your screen.
I'm sharing it. Oh, on Discord. God, was my first time. I think the one thing that we kind of learned this week, and at least about myself, and I know Cam and I have talked, is I really feel like we're really going to try to really learn DFS. We've played I played DFS for the last 2 years. Cam, Jake, how long have you guys been playing DFS for?
Last year was my first year.
Cam?
Yeah, 2 for me.
Yeah, so I mean we're pretty new, and we're pretty competitive people, but we also we're gonna dig in and find the right ways to play these certain lineups. So I'm super excited. Like, I love playing you guys every week because it's always nice to. We don't really talk trash, but I think it's kind of weird. I just think it's like, hey, good lineup, good job. So maybe we'll change it this week. Maybe we'll
This
throw
is
in some smack talk.
this is the contest. Like I always play some tournaments and stuff too, but for whatever reason, like this is the contest that I always want to win the most. Not for like bragging rights. It's just I don't even know what it is. I just
It is bragging rights. It's you're smarter than your friends.
but we don't really brag. It's just I don't know.
We're respectable human beings. We're not
Yeah.
animals. Um, All right, Cam. Let's go to you this week. I'm excited to see your Cam takes. Listen to all your stats. Just don't mess up any Taylor Heineke stats.
Yeah, I'll try not to this time. And luckily, I don't have to talk about it with who I'm playing. So I'll run down the list. And I've talked about stats on most of these guys already. In our previous episode. So starting at quarterback. So I picked my favorite one on the week. Going with
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson this week.
Yeah.
Um, he's incredibly underpriced for the level of production that he's going to give you, especially on the ground this week. In our quarterback video, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he got 100 yards rushing. For $7,400, you get about the safest floor a quarterback can offer, along with all the upside that he brings.
Did you see
He's
the
throwing
stat on him, by the way?
which one?
He has more yards by himself than like 12 other teams. He's like, if he just put his yards by himself against the league, he'd be 18th in the league in yards, total yards.
I
That's
haven't heard that.
insane.
That is insane. I
Uh,
mean, he's the one thing that's always been the knock on him that people have always said is like he'll never last. He can't throw the football, but I mean he can throw the damn football. He's throwing for an average of 300 yards a game this season. And that's at a pretty high percentage as well. I mean he's just really taking a jump. He's looking great. So I'm gonna definitely gonna plug him in, especially against the Chargers. We saw how their game went last week against a pretty good Cleveland Browns team. So got one of the higher over unders on the slate too. So yeah, I think there's gonna be plenty of points to go around at the QB position there. So I'm running with him as the captain of my team this week. Looking at my running backs that I'm gonna pair with him. To me, there's two plays at running back this week. They're just absolute chalk that everyone's going to have that are must have in cash game lineups. And I know Jake kind of talks about his approach and why he chose the lineup that he did. So for me, I'm what kind of how Cody said it. Like I'm trying to get much better at just DFS, but particularly cash games in general. And so I play anywhere from 100 to 300 individual entries with the same lineup on a weekly basis. And so my goal is just to try to understand DFS better and get to a point where I can always be above the money line and consistently win above 50% of those entries. To where, every week I can make 50, 75, $100, and continue to grow that bankroll. So that's kind of my goal with this, and that's what this lineup's going to reflect. But those two running backs are going to be Daryl Henderson and Kareem Hunt. I mean, Kareem Hunt at 6,200 with Nick Chubb being out. I mean, who's going to eat into his workload? They've got Ernest Johnson who can catch a couple footballs for them, but I mean, Kareem Hunt's going to get it all and then some. And especially in a high scoring game, at least one that's projected to be anyway. Uh, with Draftkings being in PPR format, I could see him catching 7, 8 footballs. Um, so I think he's absolute smash this week. Gonna well outperform his value. And then there's Daryl Henderson. They're playing the Giants. The Giants are getting some key pieces back on offense. They're gonna have Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard. So I'm hoping that's gonna help them put more points on the board. To where it isn't just a complete and total blowout. But either way, Daryl Henderson's he's a game script proof back. He's gonna get 20 touches, whether it be on the ground or through the air. And against the Giants defense, who are just abysmal against the run, definitely going to have an opportunity to punch it in the end zone. So those are my two running backs. I only went two running backs this week. I don't have one in my flex, but we'll get to that. Usually I play three running backs just because running backs get more opportunity than other positions. Wide receiver or tight end might only get 10 targets, but running back having the ball in their hands 20 times, that's 10 more times to get it in the end zone. That's the way I see it, at least. This week is a little bit different just because of pricing. So only playing two running backs this week. Looking at my wide receivers, um, so running it back on the other side of the ball from Baltimore, I'm playing Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen this week is going. He's going to have an absolute monster week. He's getting the volume every single game, and Baltimore has one of the worst slot protection grades of any team in the NFL. And that's where he's going to be lining up. Mike Williams is going to be running the long routes, and so it's going to be dumped down city to Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. They just give up more yards than just about anybody to running backs out of the backfield as well as slots. So for a guy that sees that much volume, he can't not put up a good week. And at 6,400, he's definitely going to outperform that price.
Yeah, and
A
just to
second guy,
interject, sorry,
sure.
Cam, just to interject here for a second. And if Mike Williams does sit, which even right now we're recording this, it's almost midnight Eastern. Mike Williams is highly questionable. I saw a clip today that he walked out of the stadium today and said that he's okay to play, but if he sits, I mean, Keenan Allen's gonna smash, right? Absolutely smash his value.
Yeah, I think either way he's going to. But yeah, if Mike Williams is out, it definitely gives him even a further uptick. So 100%. The second guy that I'm playing at wide receiver this week, keeping with the same games, the Chargers and Baltimore game, I'm playing Hollywood Brown. Um, so Marquise Brown, he's had just an absolute breakout season, and nobody's talking about it at all. He's getting roughly 10 targets a week. He's had 2 games, or well, 3 games really on the season where he's been at 100 yards. One of those was 91 yards. If you've watched the games, there's been like 5 touchdown passes that he's dropped, and if those catch, he's
He
top 10
dropped 2
wide
in
receiver.
Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, little things like that are hurting him, but like not really because he's still absolutely going off. I mean, week one, 20 points. Week two against Kansas City, 26 points. He had a little bit of a dud in week three with 8, but week four picked it back up with 19. And this past Monday night against the Colts, he put up 37. So he's on an absolute hot streak. Again, to me, it's all about getting volume first off, but then also having the opportunity to score a touchdown. And he certainly does that. I mean, just looking at his touchdowns on the season, he's got 5 of them through 5 weeks, and he caught 2 against Indianapolis, and he has 1 week without one. But would not be surprised at all if he catches 8 balls for 100 yards and a touchdown. That's kind of what I'm projecting there. So definitely going to stick with him and pairing him with Lamar. Get that double stack of points, and I think that's really safe cash game wise as well. Um, my third wide receiver, and this is sort of I'm going to go ahead and mark this as one of my guys or my picks or my locks
Wah
or
wah wah
whatever.
wah.
So a guy that's he's had 2 not so great weeks, but he's still seeing a ton of volume, and they're playing Indianapolis, which we saw Lamar Jackson throw all over that football team. And that's going to be Brandon Cooks from the Texans. So weeks 1 through 3, absolute stud. Double-digit targets for well over 100 yards as well as a couple of touchdowns too. Or so, sorry, just 1 touchdown, not a couple. But I think he at 5,800 is an incredibly safe floor. He's going to come out and get you at least 10 points. But if Davis Mills comes in and just peppers him, which I don't see why he wouldn't, I think he could be a potential high upside guy. But again, like I said, my thought process is volume, and if I can just plug a bunch of guys who are going to get 10 to 12 targets a game with a safe floor and that opportunity of scoring, hey, that's a lock for me. So those are my wide receivers. Um, Going to the tight end position, this is absolutely a 2 tight end week if I've ever seen one. I don't think I've ever seen as much value at the tight end position in my however many weeks of playing. Travis Kelsey at 7,000 is just, I mean, that's just not right. Something is wrong with that. Um, he's an absolute stud, best tight end in the league, hands down. Going against Washington, which projects to be the highest point total in the week. Tyreek Hill is somewhat banged up. I think everyone's projecting him to play, but why force feed a guy who might be potentially injured the ball when you got a guy like Travis Kelsey and um, yeah, I would not be surprised if he put up 30 this week. So I'm definitely sticking there with him. His price tag is just way too low not to. And then for the flex, this is a guy that Jake mentioned, and literally I would think that 85, 90% of cash game lineups are going to have him in it this week. That's Ricky Seals Jones. With the injury to Logan Thomas, he's going to get targeted close to 10 times a game. And again, high scoring game, high point total. Would not be surprised to see 10 targets for, you know, 50 yards and even a touchdown. He had 3 targets in the red zone last week, none of which were completed. But if he catches one of those balls at 3K, I mean he gets his salary back for you tenfold. So you're really at 3K just kind of hoping for 6-7 points, but I think it'll be north of that, somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 for him. So absolute lock this week. And then for defense, I mean, in cash games, everybody punts at defense. This week I'm going with the Lions just because that's what I could really afford with having the rest of those players paying up in other places. But I think against Cincinnati, there's always a possibility for some pressure on Joe Burrow, and at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to me when I'm evaluating lower end defenses, is which team is going to have the best opportunity to apply pressure on the quarterback, because that's either a sack or a bad throw that could lead to an interception. So yeah, kind of punting with them, but I like Jake's play of the Vikings a lot better, but could not afford them, so that's who I'm going with.
Love it.
Great cash game lineup. Love that lineup.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is something that we talked about on Monday. I just think that Indy's defense is not great, and he could go off, and who knows, Davis Mills could be the next Aaron Rodgers. Who are we? Who are we to
Whoa.
say he's not? You know,
I will say I have been very impressed with what I've seen out of him. Like he doesn't panic,
and he has a
and
long neck.
he's a fucking giraffe, and maybe that's why, because he can just see so much further down the field than everyone else. But he doesn't panic, and he makes decently smart decisions with the ball. You know,
He went to Stanford.
like
Smart guy.
yeah, 100%.
Maybe no. So the better comp would be the next Andrew Luck then, right?
No, I don't want to retire in a few years.
Oh, all right.
Um, all right. So we got Jake's lineup. We got Cam's lineup. So with this lineup here, so again, this is something to do if we don't have injuries. So my quarterback I'm going with is Heineke, the XFL superstar. 5,800 gets the Chiefs. We talked about this earlier this week. Chiefs defense is the worst in the league. I think I saw on Twitter that they're giving up 7.1 yards per pass or per like play, and that's the worst in NFL history. Um, they're 43, they're giving up 43% of their first downs on pass plays. Insane. Now let me tell you this: if Terry McLaurin is out, if he does not play, I will be getting off Heineke because I just don't trust DeAndre Carter or Adam Humphries, and even Ricky Seals Jones. Like, I like him, but like, this is Heineke is in if McLaurin plays. He popped up on the injury report Friday out of nowhere. He says he's fine. They say he's fine, just being cautious. But I mean, I've never pulled a hamstring, so I couldn't tell you.
It's one
Um,
of those soft tissue injuries are tough. Like look what happened with CMC, right?
yeah, that's
Hamstring injury and then
weird.
on the IR. So hamstrings are one of the ones I always worry about a little bit.
Yeah, we get a CMC after we get our lineups, but man, that's a weird situation. Cam has insider information because he lives in North Carolina, and he knows some stuff. So maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. My two running backs this week is the first one's gonna be Joe Mixon, so $6,400. The Lions have one of the worst run defenses in the league. Aaron Jones put up 100 yards last week. David Montgomery put up 100 yards the week before. I know the Ravens put up 100 yards the week before as well. So I think Joe Mixon on the ground is great. The Bengals are playing a little bit slower this year, and I don't know if that's just to help with Joe Burrow getting hurt last year, and he's kind of just a careless freak, man. He got karate chopped in the throat last week, so I really think Joe Mixon is going to be a really good play this week. I think he could get 25 touches and a couple tuds this week. Um, Kareem Hunt, we don't talk about it. Super chalk, 6,200. The guy has just been amazing. I don't know why he's not priced higher yet. I know he's a running back too, but man, he's averaging 18 points per game. I know he's very touchdown dependent, but I can see the Arizona and the Cleveland game going under like that. With Cliff Kingsbury tested positive for COVID. Um, I just and Jake, you were saying it's supposed to be super windy, correct, in Cleveland?
Yeah, I think there's like a weather advisory or something there. All
Yes.
that wind coming off Lake Erie.
Yeah. So I mean, I Cream Hunt will be good either. Even if it shoots out, I think Cream Hunt will have to be involved. Is Jarvis playing this week?
I'm pretty sure Jarvis is playing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's good. That might decrease Cream's value. Maybe not this week, but next week or weeks coming up. So those are my running backs this week. I'm also playing 2 tight ends. It's just it's a good week for it. Wide receivers this week. Keenan Allen's one of them for me. The Baltimore Ravens are one of the worst defenses against the slot receiver. Keenan Allen he's been very good this year. Mike Williams is just coming to life. I think we all knew Mike Williams was going to be great if he stays healthy. But I think this week Keenan Allen could easily get, 8 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. He doesn't have very much touchdown value this year. He has 1 touchdown, and that was against the Chiefs. So, some of these games he turns into touchdowns. We're looking at 20 points almost every week. And he's still getting pretty good targets. So I like Keenan Allen quite a bit. My next receiver is going to be Devontae Adams. I know that everyone, I don't know everyone, but they're playing the Bears this week in Chicago. Here's the deal: Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, they own Chicago every single year. I'm a Bears fan. I've watched Aaron Rodgers beat us since he's been with us. We had Brett Favre, then Aaron Rodgers, and I think Devontae Adams lines up in the slot. And the slot corner for the Bears is also one of the lowest grade on PFF as far as coverage goes. And how you beat the Bears is you don't they do cover two, they do the shell, like keep it in front of them. So a lot of dump offs to Devontae, a lot of slants. I just think he's going to smash. I think I have him as my wide receiver 1 for this week. That's one of my locks. I just think again he's just going to smash, and nobody's playing him. So if he doesn't do well, that's gonna kill me. But we're gonna roll the dice. My next receiver is going to be Mr. I'll make sure I don't butcher his name. Is it Amon St. Brown? How do you say his name?
Amon Ra
Amon Ra.
St. Brown.
Doesn't that mean like the son of God, or so? Or I don't know. I'll just stop there. So Jared Goff came out this week and said that he wanted to give St. Brown more touches. And there's old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If Jared Goff, he really liked that Cooper Kupp in L.A. And I think St. Brown kind of that slot, quick, get you the possession catches. I'm really excited for him. If he can get me 15 points, I'll be very happy. My tight end. I'm sorry. I gotta click him. My tight ends for the week is the same thing as Cam, so I'm going Ricky Seals-Jones, and I'm gonna go Travis Kelce. It's just hard, Cam hit the nail on the head. Travis Kelce's 7K this week. They show prices? So he's gone down. He went down 83, 85, 82, 81, down to 73. 73 on Monday night or Sunday Night Football last week. Sorry, and I think he's just going to smash. And Ricky Seals. And then my defense, I have the Washington football team. So again, I punt at defense, and the Mahomes and the Chiefs offense have been fumbling, dropping passes. I wouldn't be surprised if, and then I don't know if Joe Tooney's playing. The guy, did you hear about that? He broke his hand and he played an entire game with the cast.
I did not.
So yeah, the Joe Tooney, I think he left tackle, left guard, I'm not sure, broke his hand and played his in the first series and played it the whole game with the cast. Dude, I would be no thanks. So they could get some sacks maybe with Chase Youngs and Sweat, and we'll see. So that's our lineups for the week. That's our locks. Now remember, if there are going to be injuries, we're definitely going to be changing them. Do you guys want to add anything else on this? I think we are definitely pretty different. Cam and I, we have a couple guys that we're Cream Hunt.
Yep. So you and Cam. So we all have Kareem Hunt. We
Hmm.
all have Ricky Seals Jones. You and Cam have Kareem Hunt, Ricky Seals Jones, Travis Kelsey, and Keenan Allen as duped. That's it.
Yeah, so very different lineups, and that's kind of how it really is. Like we have, there's always a couple the same plays, and I'm super excited for this week. For this now, there's a couple things I was kind of going through here. So, why did we stay off Patrick Mahomes this week? So, what was it for you guys? Was it the price?
Yeah. It for me it was just the price. I did a couple like tried to build around a Patrick Mahomes stack with either Kelsey or Hill, and it was not only the price of that stack, and I just didn't want to play that guessing game because I think I saw I don't remember the exact stat, but it was only like once have both of them two had over 30 DraftKings points in the same game. So not only the price of the stack, I didn't want to play the guessing game of which one of them is going to have that 30 plus point, you know, nuclear explosion. So I just faded it all together.
Awesome, Cam. What about you? Was it price?
Uh, yeah, I mean, for me, it was, Patrick Mahomes is sitting there at almost 1,000 more than Lamar Jackson, and I think you can expect similar production. Like looking at Patrick Mahomes' games over the course of the season compared to Lamar's, it's fantasy points per game. Patrick Mahomes is at 28.8. Lamar Jackson is at 29.2. So I mean, I think they're both fine plays, but I saved $1,000 by going to Lamar instead of Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Is there
Yeah,
any,
and just to speak on that, I mean that I will not be shocked at all if Lamar it finishes the week as the QB1. I mean, he has arguably the safest floor as a quarterback now with because look at his rushing upside has not gone away, but the passing volume has gone up. So not only does he probably have the safest floor for quarterbacks, but you can argue he has the highest ceiling too. So I would not be shocked at all if Lamar goes in is the number one QB on the week.
yeah, I would say the complete opposite. Besides the price, I think that um, that I think Mahomes is the safest floor. I mean, if he had a great week last week, right? Playing Indy, came back 25. They're down 25-6 or 25-9. Mahomes just has a very, I mean, if you look at the stats, he's got 36, 28, 24, 32, and 21. And the 21 was with a very bad week. So I think Mahomes' floor and his ceiling is much higher, but the price, I mean, I totally get it. I didn't play Mahomes because, what Jake said, it was very tough to pick who, pair him up with Kelsey or Hill. And you picked the wrong one. You are screwed because you spent a lot of money there.
Yep, I think it was God. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I played Kelsey, and that was the week he got like 8 points,
Probably
and I
the
was like,
Eagles.
"Fuck, man."
Yeah, and they scored 43 points, and Tyreek Hill had like three
Exactly.
touchdowns. Yeah, that's a thing. It's you just never know. It's a lot of it's a guessing game. Um, well,
Um,
okay.
just to clear up the uh my injury pivots, if it does happen, just so it's set and out there. If Damian Harris is out tomorrow, I'm gonna play Ramondre Stevenson as one of my running backs at 4,500, and then I'm gonna take Rondell Moore and move him up to Robert Woods. But that's if Damian Harris is out. But besides that, I don't think it will switch.
Yeah, no, I like that. If for some reason McLaurin's out, what I'll probably do, and I don't want to say like this is gonna be for sure, but I'm gonna be taking out all Joe Mixon. I'm gonna put in Khalil Herbert from the Bears, just 4,600. I'm gonna go up to good old Justin Herbert for that, and I'll probably go up from defense too. So I'm not gonna lock it in there because I could even take out Herbert. I can go down on good old Mac Jones, and then look, I have so much more money to play with. So I'm not gonna commit to it, but if McLaurin's out, I will be taking out Heineke, and we'll go from there. Um, Cool. Anything else you guys want to touch on the lineups before we go into our locks of the week?
Nope.
The only thing I'll say is um, if Tyreek Hill winds up being out tomorrow, I'm definitely going to plug in McCole Hardman I think he's like 4,200 this week.
Who would you
And
take
he,
out?
so I would, let's see.
You don't have to commit to that. I'm just
Yeah,
curious what your thought
pull up my
process.
lineup really
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, it
Is
is.
this mine?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if he's out, then what I'm probably gonna do is take out Hollywood Brown. Okay, you can go ahead and plug in McCole Hardman there. That gives me an extra 1,900 to play with. And then what I'm probably gonna do with that is go from Daryl Henderson to Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, I'm not gonna
So
lie, I
that's
like
my
that lineup
pivot.
a lot. I think I like that lineup better, Cam.
I mean that's only if Tyreek Hill's out. I mean, I think McCole Hardman will still see some increased usage this week just because he is injured. Um, he had 12 targets last week. Rough game script, but um, he has seen targets, he has seen volume, but what really is going to put that over the edge for me is if Tyreek's out.
Yeah, and McCole does return punt, so he can run it back. You never know. Um, okay, cool guys. So, how do you guys want to do the lock of the week? Do you want to just go? Someone start does three, then three, or do one? I think we should do three, 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 right? Our three locks.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna go first. So I've already said this. So Devontae Adams is gonna finish wide receiver one of the week. I just think that nobody else like believes that. And here's the thing: if he doesn't finish like top 10 wide receivers, that means he has a rough game. That means the Packers aren't doing well. That means the Bears win. I'll take that. I don't care. That's one of them. And then if I'm gonna, so I have two. I had Heineke top three quarterback, but if McLaurin does not play, and if he comes in like he's banged up, that I will change it. So I will find something else. My second pick is going to be Mahomes scores over 35 points this week. Cam, we had this bet earlier. I truly think that Mahomes is going to. Oh, I mean, he's going to do really, really good things this week and just come out to be on top. So that's my two picks. Cam, I'm going to throw it over to you, and I will take notes because I know you're playing league and cooking chicken thighs.
So we're doing two or we're doing
Three.
three?
So I did two because I have Heineke as top three quarterback, but if McLaurin's out, I'm not doing that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So if you want to click over to my lineup, real quick. So for this week,
Let me change it. Sorry.
locks that I'm gonna throw in. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Lamar Jackson has more than 80 yards rushing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he is definitely going to meet that, and that's what's going to put him, more than likely QB1 on the week. But hot take number one, my locks is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson more than 80 yards rushing. Um, my second lock it's definitely around Brandon Cooks. I'm going to go ahead and say that he scores a touchdown this week. Along with all that good volume he's going to see and Indy's ability to give it up in the passing game. Um, and then I'm also going to go ahead and throw out there that the Lions defense manufacture a turnover and even score on the week.
I like that.
I think they're going to get enough pressure. Their defensive line is nothing to scoff at. And yeah, I think that happens too. So those are my three locks of the week.
Cool. I like that. I my favorite one of that is probably the Lions defense scores. That's a true like, hey, it's a real gall play there, buddy. Okay, Jake, what are your three locks of the week?
Well, if you click on over to my lineup,
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna put this back before.
all right. So looking at my lineup, I'm gonna start with DJ Moore. DJ Moore outscores Devontae Adams this week.
Ooh, that's actually a good
All
bet.
all three of my, I think all three of my takes are pretty bold,
I love it.
but I kind of need them, to win. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to manifest these into existence. So DJ Moore, I'm all about the Moores this week. DJ Moore outscores Devontae Adams, and Rondell Moore scores 15 or
Give me
more.
more.
Oh yeah, you want more? Rondell Moore scores 15 or more fantasy points. I know that's not like a huge number, but for a guy for 4,600, if he scores 15 or more, that really separates my lineup at that price.
Okay.
And then, so I've got two more. One that doesn't have anything to do with my lineup that I just want to throw out there, but I'll get to that one next. And then my other one is Dalvin Cook finishes the slate as the RB1.
Is that points overall or value? Well,
Points
finish number.
overall.
Yeah, if he finished number 1, he'd be the best value play because he would finish. Well, that's not true. Finishes number 1. Okay, what is your
And then
Cam?
my
Hold on.
weird one that is Cam, go ahead. Did you have
No,
something?
no, no. I thought you already threw out your last one.
No,
Sorry.
my weird one that doesn't have anything to do with my lineup. I'm gonna have a ton of this guy in my tournament lineups this week, probably because he's pretty contrarian, and I don't think he's gonna be owned a lot. But I think this is the week we see a Javonte Williams breakout for the Broncos. He's gonna score over 20 points, 20 fantasy points.
So, yeah, because is Melvin Gordon playing?
That's one of the ones where I think he's still pretty questionable
Okay.
going into tomorrow, so we'll know more before kickoff. But even if he does, I think that turn is inevitable, right? We see all the time where it's a split all year long, and then the closer you get to the end of the year, the rookie kind of takes over. I mean, if you've watched Javonte
He's a
Williams,
freak,
the
dude.
guy's a freak. He breaks tackles, he makes people miss, and he
Carries
just
people on his
picks up.
back.
Yeah. So I think this is the week we see the Javonte Williams breakout.
Cool. Cam, what'd you have?
I'm just gonna throw one more out there. It's not really a hot take player wise, but I'm willing to put a double shot on the line if you guys are willing to take it. I think that both of you are gonna be very regretful that you didn't plug Daryl Henderson into your lineup at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking that back because I probably will.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, I lied Daryl Henderson the entire week. And I still could play him. That's the thing, man. I like if McLaurin doesn't play. The more I think about it, like with McLaurin, I may not play Heineke just because that makes me nervous. So and I think Kareem Hunt, like I think he could be a good play. But yeah, I will. I'm not taking that because I probably will.
Enough.
Jake,
Well, I don't know how we like. How do we determine if
how many points, Cam? How many points do you think he
I don't think
scores?
he outscores either of my running backs. So I don't know
No
how
play.
I'd be.
Just at the end of the week, if your general feeling is, man, I should have played him, then that meets the criteria. But if you're like, yeah, I was fine not playing him, then I have to hold up my end of the bargain.
All right, so I guess this is a gentleman's bet. We have
Yeah,
to be honest with
gentlemen's
our.
just gut feel, like whatever you
All right,
feeling in your nuts.
Fuck it, I'll take it.
All right, let's do it.
I
all
feel
right.
stuff in my nuts all the time. Anyways, so I got my one of my bets is Jimmy Graham scores a touchdown this week. I'm gonna fucking hold on to that until he
Not
does
this shit again.
because we pay
Jesus
him
Christ.
$8 million a year for him to have one pancake block and everybody freaks out. So think about it from the narratives, perspective.
He didn't see a target last week, did he?
He's only seen like one target all year. But listen,
Yeah, that's not gonna make things
sketch.
easy.
And then his backup JP Horsted scored over him. But listen, X team, he is a captain this week. Last week Khalil Mack was a captain, had a monster game. I'm all about like just the feel. I'm not much of an analytical guy. Like, I will, think about it, but man, if it feels right in my bottom of my stomach, I, I will take it, man. I will definitely take it.
Why did I feel like you were about to say kneecaps?
I was about to say ball sack, but it's not very
Oh
appropriate.
shit.
And my other bet, by the way, was that Atlanta and Cleveland they don't come anywhere near that over under of like 52. I think they stay like below 45. Okay, so why not Cooper Kupp, right? Like, so there's a couple people wanting to talk about too. So Cooper Kupp, why are we not in him again? Price, like his volume is there. Like, what are we thinking?
For me,
I
it's
don't
just
think this.
game script.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. There's nothing wrong with Cooper Cup. Like he could get his before that game gets out of reach, but I really do feel like they're gonna blow them out, and that makes sense to why Cam's got Henderson in his lineup. But yeah, for me, it's gonna be they're gonna blow him out. I don't know how the fuck Daniel Jones is even gonna see the field. He's
Dude.
probably got scrambled eggs for a brain right now, so just don't.
Yeah. I agree. I think Cooper Cup, but that's something too, man. Like if you play Robert Woods, great week last week. Well, hey, Cooper Cup. I mean, didn't he get stopped at the 1 yard line twice last week? Like he still has 10 targets. I mean, look at that. He has
Yeah,
16 points. I mean,
just
that's
traded
something.
him.
Yeah, well,
Just
that's
traded him in
that's
one of my season-long leagues
not smart. Not
for
smart at all.
Justin Jefferson, though.
Okay, that actually is kind of good. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys want to add on to this before we wrap up?
Only thing I'll say is I really wish I could have gotten some exposure to the Bengals wide receivers. Reason being is Detroit is without their top two corners this week,
Mhm.
so I think those injuries are going to have a big impact. Um, I think Jamar Chase may have a monster game, but yeah, I really do think Cincinnati is going to wind up winning that, and because they don't have those corners on the Detroit side of things, it could get out of hand pretty quick. So Um, you know, I like the Joe Mixon pick, and I think there's some potential there for one or two the wide receivers to have a really good game.
So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that comes true, and both of mine are the two. Hopefully, it's not a Tyler Boyd explosion tomorrow, because my lineup will be fucked.
Well, like think about that. Like we're not anywhere near NFL coaches, but like if you know your two top cornerbacks are out, why aren't you just playing just shell coverage? Why like just let them get the short stuff, let them do the dinks and dunks, and that's something that I don't understand it. Like how can a team consistently be so bad over the top? Like that to me just I don't understand. That's I'm also not an NFL coach. I'm just making shit up in my bottom of my basement on a Saturday at 11 o'clock at
Well,
night.
if Joe Mixon is running at 7 yards a clip, they eventually are gonna have to put more men in the box. Like they can't. You gotta kind of pick your poison, right? You can't let them run the ball over you too. So
But do you think Detroit has a better chance if it's more of a grind and pound game like it was against Minnesota, or do you think you have a chance if that shoots out? Like in my head, like I would much rather have them run the ball, get 7 yards of carry, go score. The Bengals defense is not very great, and the
that
Lions
and
offense
that
can figure it out.
and you just answered my question right there. Is the Bengals defense is way worse than the Vikings defense, so they might feel like they can keep up with this team a little bit better than they can the Vikings.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm just saying that because I want Joe Mixon to score 3 touchdowns because you guys aren't on him this week. I know you guys were, but you guys went elsewhere. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. So, this is gonna go up on our YouTube channel. So we're going to make a YouTube channel that's TBD. And then I also figured out a way where we can download this on Spotify. So once we get that figured out, I will. Um, the next time we talk, we'll have a plan for it, and we'll let everyone know. Everyone the three of us that listen to it. And then we will be back Monday night for a weekend review, and then kind of a first look. So a little bit longer of a show. Um, Jake, Cam, thank you guys for hanging out, and let's win some money tomorrow.
Well, keep pounding, baby.
Yes, sir. Keep pounding. Go Bears. Have a great night.